Hello, 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 and welcome to Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Colon, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast Deck, a mom and a wife. And we are still in 2022. We are literally in the 8th month, almost in the 9th month of 2022. Can you guys believe how quickly this year is moving right along? I know I can't. Before I dive into anything else further than this, is to remind you to share, like, and comment on today's show. Share this out. And if you've missed last week's episode, I had two amazing guests on last week's episode. I had Gabriella and Paula. They were speaking about how to get your body to heal itself. So if you missed last week's episode, please, please, please go ahead and watch that episode so you can gain some tips and ideas on how to actually allow your body to heal itself, because it's capable of doing that when you actually, I'm going to use the word, tap into its ability to heal. And after all, I'm sure you know by now, for those of you who've been watching the show day after day, week after week, my focus here is to help you connect with other ways to heal your body naturally, with a natural approach, with the many, many, many natural modalities out there, and to wean yourself away from the Western medicine. If you have not figured out, that's what my show is about. So anyway, like I said, go ahead and catch last week's show. You can do that by watching it on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube. And for those of you who live in Long Island, you can also watch on Optimum TV, Long Island, channel 115 at 2 p.m. every Thursday. So all that being said, I want to give a shout out to my amazing, amazing partners that make this possible week after week after week. So I have a whole list, and yes, I do have it written down, because there are days where I have so much going on up here that I have to really write it down to make sure I don't forget anybody. So to start off with, as I've already mentioned, Gabriella, who's our amazing partner. She is our medical intuitive and also founder of Alive Health Solution. Then we have Terry Morse, who is our doctor of natural medicine. Kendrick Greer, our amazing astrologer. CJ Ives Lopez, she is the host and publisher of The Author's Porch podcast and magazine. Next issue comes out in October, so stay tuned, and you can get all the other issues on Amazon. I believe the last issue was number 5, so there's 5 magazines. Please go and get them. Then we also have Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, both hosts of Intuition of the Soul. Nick Rafter, who is our real estate agent, so if you are looking to relocate, whether it's to buy a home or get an apartment, he's your go-to. And he's also our writer and editor and journalist, so if you're looking to write that blog article or your newest book, reach out to him. Daniel Martinez Stoll, he is our spiritual journey facilitator and also spiritual development coach. And last but not least, Joe Monkman, who is our guest today. He is a shamanic healing practitioner and wellness advocate. Well, I have an amazing lineup of partners that help this show run week after week after week. And if you would like to find out how you can become one of our partners, feel free to reach out. You could do so by emailing healingwithin76@gmail.com. All that being said, let's tune in to the energy. But before I do, I just want to make sure that I am live. So I want to just connect with each and every one of you. If you haven't shared out today's show, please go ahead and do so. I always have such a challenging time connecting to this darn thing. And I don't want to spend too much time trying to do that, but whatever the case is, maybe on the commercial break, I'll find it. But anyway, we're not going there yet. Do want to talk to you about the energy that's going on. We have a lot of energy that is taking place as we speak. When we think about it, we are in the final week of Leo in the sun, where as of, August 23rd, the sun will move into Virgo energy. For those of you who are going to be celebrating Virgo birthdays, happy early birthday. But we still have some people celebrating Leo birthdays, so happy birthday to you guys as well. give you a little taste of what Virgo energy is about. Virgo is about organizing, scheduling. It's also about health, fitness, and wellness, but it's about your structure. And when we think of your structure, we think of maybe your home, excuse me, the workplace, and of course your body, mind, and spirit. Virgo is associated with the sixth house energy, right along with the energy of in numerology based off the collective universal energy, which is 6. It's all about healing. So you might be prompt to want to tap in to changing the way you look at your body, the way you heal your body, the way you nurture your body. And that's all Virgo energy. Now, in addition to the sun moving to Virgo, we have some other big things going on right now. As of recent, Uranus has just moved into Taurus energy, I think so, Taurus. Yes, Taurus energy, which will be going retrograde on the 24th. And I just want to double check that insight there before I dive further, just to make sure, just checking into my notes. So hang in there with me a minute. I always make sure I am giving you the right information because I know that a lot of you depend on this information to get you through where you're going. So hang in there with me. Yes, Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus energy and will be going retrograde on the 24th of this month. What does that actually mean? Just in a small nutshell of it all, Taurus is the second house, which is about our relationships with our physical and material possessions. Uranus is about the awakening. So many of us might really be shifting things around, decluttering, and letting go of our physical and material possessions. And depending on where Uranus sits in your personal chart, will give you the theme to what's going to be taking place as Uranus goes retrograde. Another highlight that's going on, just recently, Mars has moved into Gemini energy, just recently on the 20th, and will stay there right until January 12th because it's going to go retrograde on October 30th. I'll be speaking more about that as we go closer and closer to that retrograde. However, Mars is about action. It's a fire element. And when in Gemini, Gemini is an air sign. So there's going to be a lot of internal conversation in regards to what you want to take action on. And once this retrograde happens, there's going to be sudden, unexpected turn on events that come up. So again, where the placement of Mars is on your chart, where Gemini is on your chart, and also note too that if you don't specifically have Gemini, like literally in your chart where it says Gemini, Gemini is associated with third house. So you may have things in the third house placement, which will definitely be influenced by this retrograde. Moving on, we also have Mercury entering Libra on August 25th. Mercury, as you all know, is our planet of communication, technology, that's a biggie, and also how we listen and learn. Libra is about balance, justification, and contracts. Now, the main goal here with all of these planets shifting and moving or whatever not, whether it's in retrograde or just moving from one placement to another, the main goal here is there's a lot of energy taking place as of this week. So because there's so much energy taking place as of this week, you may very well feel overwhelmed, maybe excited about what's to come and not quite sure to why you're feeling overwhelmed or excited. And again, a lot of this has to do with where each of these planets and each of these zodiac signs sit on your personal chart. And to only understand this, the best way is to continue to follow me, whether it's here on the show, during my personal lives that I do, also in reference to some of my private groups. So to learn more about that and you're interested in knowing, email healingwithin76@gmail.com to gain more insight to how I share this information and how you can benefit from it as well. I'm going to pull a card for today and see what one color, which is associated with your chakra, an affirmation that can add to your story and also raise your vibration, and a number that is associated with the daily astrology and the numerology that's going on right now. So let's see what we need to know. Oops, we have two cards. I was going to put one back, but no. Let's work with both cards. All right, so here we have two cards. Let's go with the first one. Old soul. That is so appropriate. When we talk about old soul energy, it means the old version of you no longer exists. It is fading out. I don't want to use the word dying out because you're not dying. Well, not necessarily in the traditional term, but the old version of you has died out and the new version of you is coming in. And with the help of all of these retrogrades, and I'm not sure if you're aware, we literally have 6 planets in retrograde as we speak, moving into 7 very shortly. These retrogrades are helping us wean out what no longer serves our mind, body, and spirit to helping us become a different version. Yellow energy is associated with your solar plex, which is allowing you to trust where you are and where you're going and not fear it, not limit yourself, and not restrict yourself as well. 2 and 6 is all about the number 8. 8 is associated with Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is one of our planets that's retrograde right now in Capricorn. So Pluto is helping to destroy what no longer serves your soul's purpose, your career, shall we say. So that's going to start to look very different as you move forward, which is why the old soul is reminding you, you are no longer that person. So that 8 energy associated with Scorpio, it's about letting things go, moving things out so you can transform and make space for the new. In numerology, the number 8 is about abundance, success, achievement, harmony, and balance. So I'm loving that first card. Second card, which works out really well here, is new beginnings. So just like our first card says about an old soul and letting shit go, and sorry to curse, new beginnings. This is an opportunity for a new beginning. You must be willing to let things go so you can move into your new beginning. Number 10 is associated with 10th house, which is Capricorn. We just spoke about that a little bit. Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn energy. So this is really about a new beginning that's coming in with your soul's purpose, your career, more success, more accomplishments. That 10th energy is also associated with the masculine, your masculine energy of taking action, but also the connection and relationship you have with your father figures, and other men. Crown chakra. So this is really about serving your highest purpose and moving into that higher energy. So I love both cards. I do hope that both cards resonate with you. All that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break and I'll be back with my guests. So I'll be right back.
If you are turned off by conventional medicine and their mantra, "Do you want meds for that?" there's a better option. I'm Gabriella Mihalichin, medical intuitive and healer. Let me help you find the root cause of your illness and guide you through healing. My intuitive method directs your body to heal itself and removes barriers to healing. I invite you to schedule a session today at alivehealthsolutions.com.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I will introduce my guest in just a second. For those of you who missed the first part of the show, please go back and watch later. You can do that by watching on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and those who live in Long Island, Optimum TV, channel 115, 2 p.m. every Thursday. So let's just wrap up in reference to the first part of the show, our 2 cards for the day. Very appropriate. First card's about the old soul, recognizing that the old version of you has died off and is dying off. It's very important to recognize that. Try not to hold on to the things that no longer serve you. The number 26 is 8. Associated with Scorpio, which is so interesting because my guest happens to be a Scorpio. Isn't that interesting? So we talk about that 8 energy. It is about letting things go so you can make space for what's coming in. Again, go back and watch the beginning to get the full reading on this. The yellow is associated with solar plex. Second card, very appropriate, new beginnings. After all, we're letting things go so we can make space for our new chapter. That 10 energy is associated with Capricorn, which is in retrograde in Pluto, helping to destroy what no longer serves your career, your soul's purpose, because something new is on its way. Go back and watch from the beginning, go back later and watch, because right now we have some exciting conversations going on right now with my amazing guest, Joe Markman. He's been here on the show many times in the past. I think it's the first time in 2022, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Joe, let our audience know about you, a little bit about you, and then we'll dive into our conversation.
Well, I feel like you just told them everything that's going on with me through that. Because that is really so spot on. I'm sitting here going, wow, okay. That's absolute validation for me. So I am like, well, okay. So I'm Joe Monkman. I'm currently living in New York City and happy to be here. Very tickled by that.
Oh, sorry.
Like I'm listening going, wow. My heart's going like, whoa, yeah. So I work in the field of personal development mostly, helping people to get a little decluttered out of the head, decluttered out of the heart, so they can make clear, more conscious, more heart and spirit centered decisions about their life. So that's what I'm doing. And I use, shamanic healing techniques and intuitive guidance and spirit messages, which we're going to talk about today.
Yes, we are. Considering that's the topic, that is the topic about spirit messages and energy insight. Now, before we dive further, for those of you who are not aware, Joe has this amazing, I'm going to use the word, can we use the word, should we use the word podcast? What do we use? Group? I guess group, because it's not a podcast.
I usually call it a gathering.
Oh, gathering that he offers on Tuesdays. He offers it over a series of weeks. And sadly, we say this Tuesday is the last one for this series, but it does start back up again.
Yeah.
So, and why I say sadly we say is because this Tuesday I won't be able to be there. So I'm being a little selfish. So my apologies. But talk about what that is, because I think that leads us right into our amazing conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. So Spirit Messages and Energy Insights, which I run on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a 6-week series. Then we take 2 weeks off, and then we're back on for 6 weeks. It's a gathering, like I said, and it's open to the public. And what we do is, what I do is I tune in and facilitate messages from Spirit. So it's kind of a channeling psychic medium, hour to hour and a half, depending on the size of the group and what wants to come through. And basically, I just sit and wait for information that often is centered around 3 themes, 3 words that come to me before we start. And then I just listen, because for me, that's what channeling or mediumship is. It's really listening and receiving messages from Spirit. It's about listening, getting blocks of information. For some of us, like me, maybe a visual, maybe a feeling in the body, and then relaying that information. So I give a kind of overall energy reading for the week or the month or the season. And then we go into individual messages for people who have gathered with us.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not mistaken because I'm there in your class most times, when you are providing this insight, you actually work with some sort of, I'm going to use the word object, yes?
Sometimes I hold an object because it helps me ground the energy. So like maybe something like this, which is a quartz snake. So I just kind of hold it, and sometimes I hold it to my ear as if I'm listening, or I hold it close to my chest, or I hold it down where people can't see it on camera. But it really does give me a grounding, and it kind of becomes that thing through which that channeling happens.
Yes. And I think what also makes this gathering so special, other than the 3 words that Joe shares with us ahead of time, because he likes to give us an idea of what those 3 words are, everything else is organic. during the entire show, everything you're receiving, as opposed to thinking ahead of the game and sitting and saying,
Yeah.
okay, what is everyone going to need to know? So I love it.
It's not scripted. Yeah,
Yes.
It's not scripted. I just wait for the info to come. That's why sometimes if you're watching, if you're part of the group, there can be some long pauses because I'm just waiting. And sometimes I say a word or two, and this will happen with the individual messages because there's an impact. The words have an impact, and I just wait until I get the next impulse to say something else. So sometimes I realize that sometimes not everyone is pleased with what comes through for them when they ask a question, because, we're not here to please people. We're here to give an honest, authentic, in integrity evaluation of the energy in that moment, which, the energy can change. So that can kind of be a guide, it's guidance, right? It's guidance.
Yes. And I know this is not a conversation you and I had prior, but in regards to this gathering, who would be the right fit for this gathering? Who would benefit from what you do?
I think anyone who really wants to move in a direction that feels more heart-centered, that feels like they're really being guided by what I say is the original blueprint of their soul and their spirit, and working from why they're really here, which for me is always joy, happiness, love, right? Compassion, kindness, gentleness, generosity of spirit. So anyone who fits in there and is not looking for, adulation, stroking of ego, they have to be, there has to be a baseline of stability within the spirit, so yeah, men, women, doesn't matter.
Yes. And definitely coming
gender
in.
non-conforming.
What was that?
We're gender non-conforming on Tuesdays.
Exactly. And definitely coming into the gathering with an open mind of, as Joe does share insight with each person, and also the general insight that comes in intuitively, the collective energy, what he's sharing with one person could also resonate with another one as well. So even though, yes, it might be a personal reading that he's providing, let's say if he's giving me insight, that same insight he's giving me could actually resonate with somebody else as well. And I often find that with all insight that comes from everybody.
Yes, it's just like you doing that opening, before I started speaking. I mean, that was a message from spirit for me, for sure. That's how I look at that, because you might have been giving a general reading about the energy, but it's like, it was so specific for me. It was like, it was a private reading.
Yes, so, but you'll get a bonus one because towards the end of today's show, you get another one. So that's going to be much more personalized for you as well. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break before we dive into the next segment. But before we do, Joe, let everybody know how they can reach you.
They can, right now, the best way to reach me is via email, and it's my name, first and last name together, strung together, @gmail.com. That's the best way to reach me. Yeah, that's the best way to reach me right now.
Yes, and I can contest, because if you have his cell phone number and you try to reach him there, not happening. You have to send him a text message saying, hey, check your voice message because I left you one. Yes.
Not many
so we're going to take that.
Yeah,
we're going to take that quick commercial break. And when we come back, there's going to be more about spirit messages and energy insights. So stay tuned.
Each of us has a mission. What's your mission? Would you like to become a community health resource specialist so you can help your family and your community? For more information on this new training, email me at terry@morsewellness.com. That's TERRY @MORSE wellness.com. You can become a community health resource specialist.
Hello, my name is Nick Rafter, journalist, writer, editor. I'm happy to be offering copy editing and line editing services at competitive industry rates. If you have a book or any document that needs to be edited and thoroughly looked through, please contact me at nickrafter@gmail.com. Let's discuss how to get that work done. That's nickrafter, NICKRAFTER, @gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Well, welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I have my amazing guest, Joe Monkman, here. And if you are just tuning in, you can definitely go back later and watch on the replay. You could do that on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, YouTube, and there's so many others. Each commercial break, I'll say a different one. I don't say them all. I try not to because it gets... Anyway, moving back into our topic, which is all about spirit messages and energy insights, which Joe offers this amazing, amazing gathering every Tuesday. Most Tuesdays, he does it in a series. And this Tuesday coming up is the last one for the last 6 weeks. The next one, when's the next one come up?
Oh my gosh.
I know there's a flyer. We have a flyer with it that will show up later.
Yes, and it just went out of my head. So September, the second Tuesday in September.
Yes, there you go. So
Bobby,
mark
do you
your
have a
calendar. Yes, mark your calendar if you would like to participate in that gathering, because it's definitely worth participating, even if you just want to peek your head in for a second just to see what it's about. And then after you engage with us, then you can decide from there if it's something you want to commit to the next 6 weeks of doing. I know for me, I so enjoy the insight, the energy that comes from, and then of course the group itself. They're an amazing bunch of people. Anyway, with that being said, Joe, how do you actually gain messages and insight? Do you have messages and insight for us right now? What's going on right now?
Oh.
How many hours do we have to our show?
Yeah. Well, basically it's about really waiting until there's a still point inside. And then I just kind of wait. Oh, it's like tuning into, back in the day when you were trying to tune your radio. So yeah, and people get messages, like I said earlier, all different ways. Sometimes I sometimes feel it and see it as a block of energy and information. And then I just wait until it comes through me translated in English, and always, I want to make a point here too, that there's a certain level of responsibility in giving messages, because we want to, or I strive to wait for the words that are most positive and uplifting and inspiring, even if they create a kind of ripple through some people that they don't, it doesn't land quite like the person wanted it to, but I'm clear that that's what wanted to come through in that moment, So we have to understand that, we want supportive information coming through, because this is making an imprint on people. It's having an effect on people's psyche, right? It's almost like a trance induction for some people, right?
Yes, definitely.
So that said, let me just, so basically for us now in this time, we are in the final days almost of, although it's another month, we're in the last month of 3 months of summer, and the heat is still on. The heat, you could also say it's like the pressure, there's still pressure coming in and forcing us to change shape. Kind of like you said at the beginning, right? It's forcing us to make decisions. It's forcing us to face some things inside of ourselves or outside of ourselves in relationships and jobs and, where we're living and who we're spending our time with, so that we are in a more heart and soul centered place inside of us, so we can move forward in our lives free of all that clutter and BS from the past. That's really what's happening. And I think what you said about, Mars and stuff and the planets, which is why I love astrology, because I can see where it fits in when I speak about the intuitive piece of it and then talk to someone like you about the astrological aspects. It makes really good sense, right? So I think that it's all about right now letting the heat of the moment, of the season in the Northern Hemisphere at least, do its job, which is to create enough pressure to have, boom, this opening and awakening.
Yes, and I love the fact that you use the word heat, because when we actually think of this Mars and Gemini energy right now, what many may actually experience is heat in their own bodies, such as temperatures showing up, when people may experience, whether it be a flu-like symptom. I like to call flus a spiritual flu, where we may actually have temperature in our body as well, where we're going to get really, really, really hot because things are finally coming to a boil, and it's finally time to take that pot off the stove and pour whatever it is out into whatever it needs to go to.
And maybe add other ingredients, right, that we weren't expecting to add to the mix. So
exactly.
Or take some stuff out. Like
Exactly. So yeah, this is, I feel as though intuitively, like this energy that we're in right now is really like exciting energy.
Yes.
Like, at least for me, I feel very excited, even though I know that there's a lot of things that I have to do over the next couple of weeks. That's not going to be so damn exciting, but it's going to lead into the excitement.
Yes. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Many of us, right? We know that we have to go through this passage of time, which the universe is like, time? What's that?
Exactly.
To get through, we have to move through this. It's imperative that we do it, right? We have to walk into that cave on our own in a lot of cases and sit there and wait until we can adjust our eyes and adjust our vision to see that little speck of light and then follow that.
Yes, excellent. Now, here's a big question in reference to, let's say, the short-term future. For many of us, the collective energy, not so much the personal, because that would be a little challenging to do with, not knowing who's watching, but the collective. What do you see coming in the short-term future?
I feel, well, I'll just say it from a global level. I've told you before that I love politics and I love global events, because I feel like they can give us a lot of insight about what's happening to us individually. So it's the microcosm of the macrocosm. So I feel like we're going to see in the United States, we're going to see some things that are exposed on a political level, a governmental, organizational level, and also geopolitically. I think that's going to have repercussions, and things like the war in Ukraine are, stirring things up in that part of the world. So these kind of things where there are conflicts, we get to see like, where's the war within myself? What kind of conflict am I creating? If we look at these world events as a mirror, like, oh, okay, this is happening out there. What's happening in me? I love doing that. I think it's really good because what goes on up here in our head is going to create the world that we're living in. And we're seeing this very much so. All the shadowy hidden stuff, the conflicts coming out. I feel like the next 3 to 4 months, boom, the corks are popping, the lids are coming off, it's like things are being exposed, and that's really good.
Yes. And just as they are being exposed collectively, individually as well, there's many of us who are going to be feeling that collective energy on a more personal level in regards to, let's say, in our careers or even in relationships for that matter. What we were able to tolerate, we're not going to be able to tolerate anymore. It's just going to become too damn irritating to continue to do something that just no longer serves. It's like the card that showed up, the old soul card, in reference that we were able to do things before because we were okay with it. But now it's like, okay,
we tolerated it.
Yeah, we want more now, and our energy is very different. So with the collective, as Joe says, being mindful of how that is actually mirroring how you are actually feeling and what area in your life is it mirroring for you to help you out. So you can stop trying to sit back and thinking you're not getting your clarity, where your clarity could be right in front of your face.
Yeah. So anything that we've hidden from ourselves, anything that's been obscured, consciously or unconsciously, that stuff is going to come up. It's going to rise up because, like we were saying, the heat, the heat is building up under it. It's forcing the steam to rise. It's forcing the volcano to explode, and this is all really good stuff. It might not always feel good in the moment, but we don't have to suffer in it either. We can reach out and ask for help, for guidance from a myriad of places, the invisible realm, the visible realm. We can eat well, sleep well, exercise, be in nature. These are all important parts of the holistic experience of living on the planet.
Yes. And just as Joe said about sleeping well, eating well, and getting out to nature, he literally just gave the entire theme of what the Virgo energy is. It's all about just that, scheduling time to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. And to do just that is eating well, resting, getting out into nature, moving your body. Now, Joe, I have a question, which again, not relating to, it is relating to what we're talking about, but wasn't one of the questions. In regards to your beautiful little piece you have, your snake that you got there, if you can ask your rose quartz snake, what's the one word our audience can benefit from today? What would that word be?
Kindness.
Ooh, like that. Kindness.
That starts here with the self, and then it can go out. If we can really find within us, where we're being unkind, sometimes we have to go that route to find how we can be kinder, or just, expand in ourselves to help that kindness that's always there. It's part of our innate makeup, our genetic coding. It's all there. We just have to let it come out.
Yes.
It's going to change the world.
Yes. And as we are the creator to what we are seeing out in the collective energy, again, if you are focused on seeing, let's say, anger or frustration or just mean people out there, then remind yourself that that's what you're looking for. Yeah. So if you could take what Joe is saying and seek kindness in the world, starting with yourself, that when you look in the mirror, you see yourself being kind to yourself, like saying something nice to yourself. And then extending that out to somebody else. Like, I know for me, when I walk down the block of where my studio is, and early in the morning when there's lots of people out on the street, I like to make eye contact with people and smile at them.
Great practice.
Quite interesting that there are so many people that, and I've experienced this, that literally grunt at me.
It's startling for some people to see someone making eye contact, looking at them, seeing them, and smiling,
Yes. Where I literally had somebody look at me and says, really? And I'm like, well, you have a very blessed day and sunshine throughout the entire day. And he's just looking at me like, yeah, wherever you just came from, go back.
Go back to that planet. Yeah, but you know what? People aren't always used to kindness. Isn't that fascinating that they're not used to being said hello to or smiled at? And, in New York City, no matter which borough you live in, there's always that hey, what? Don't make eye contact.
Exactly.
So, but kindness, when I was waiting tables in college, there was always this thing that we'd feel a little bit like, oh, that customer, a bartender or someone would always remind us, kill them with kindness.
Yes, exactly.
I don't like the killing part, but
exactly.
Love and kindness maybe is a better way to say it.
Exactly. And when we think about the last 2.5 years where we had to wear masks, all we got to see was the people's eyes. So eye contact was amazing at that point.
Yes.
We had no idea what the facial expression was going on, but we got to see.
But you can see when people were smiling, right?
Yes. If you knew how to look beyond that, your eyes in itself. Yes.
Yeah, that's always good.
Exactly. So, Joe, we have to take another commercial break. Let everybody know how they can reach you again, please.
My email, it's Joe Monkman, my name, boom, at gmail.com.
Exactly.
Email me. Let's have a chat.
Yes, yes. And those who will be watching this on the replay, whatever platform you are, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, YouTube, et cetera, please put your comments in and let Joe know what it is that you are resonating with regarding the conversation that we are having. And of course, email him to find out more about his spirit messages and energy insight gathering that takes place on Tuesdays, which will be starting up again. Last one's coming up this Tuesday. Next one starts up in September, second Tuesday of the month. We're going to take that quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with some tips and then a card reading for Joe.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm Kendrick Cortez Greer, personal astrologer and astrological counselor here in Brooklyn, New York. I've been an astrologer for over 23 years now, providing astrological readings, counseling sessions, workshops, and corporate events all throughout the tri-state area. I've been very blessed and lucky to have clients all throughout the United States and beyond. If you're interested in a reading that is warm, heartfelt, honest, and conducive to speaking to one of your best friends, please contact me at 917-863-7528. You can also email me at kendrickstar@gmail.com. That's Kendrick, STAR, @gmail.com. And for you Insta people, find me on Instagram at Kendrick Cortez Astrology. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Toodles.
Hi everyone, I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha.
Hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit invitation. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl. I've invited 11 other incredible spiritual intuitives to come and join me as we give Spirit a platform for them to share with us their latest messages, healings, and transmissions. To register and attend for free, please go to channelingspirit.net. I look forward to seeing you there. Being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I have my amazing guest, Joe Monkman here. We've been speaking about his weekly gathering, Spirit Messages and Energy Insight, and how he actually connects with Spirit. So you're going to have to go back and watch from the very beginning to find that out. Do that later, not now, because right now, Joe's going to offer us a tip to how to connect with Spirit. So, Joe, what tip do you have for us?
Well, first of all, I think stillness and silence is a good way. That's how I get in there. I just sit and I wait. There's a little bit of patience and practice in this because there's a mastery involved here. And this is something that I've been honing consciously for 32 years. When I first started doing messages, it was me. I would just sit with a notebook. I was journaling for myself. And then I'll never forget one day, everything stopped. And then this other handwriting came out. It was very different than the way I was writing. And it was more slow and methodical. And this information from me was coming out. And so that's how I would do it. I would just sit and wait and write and write and write. And then one day I went to my friend and I said, hey, I think that I'm supposed to now speak these messages. And she sat and waited, and I started speaking the messages. And it's not like my voice changes or anything. It's just, for me, it's slowing down enough and waiting and getting quiet so that the messages, the information can come through in my own voice. I'm not, you hear like someone like Esther Hicks, her cadence, everything changes with her, right? That's her style. That's how it comes through her. That's not how it comes through me.
Mm-hmm. Now, question is showing up. For somebody who may not have the tendency to be patient enough to sit long enough to receive message, what is another way that someone can gain some messages?
Meditation of any kind. So it could be, dancing, physical fitness. Like for me, being at the gym, I get so single focused, so that helps information come through, right? Biking is another way, running, because you're just focused on the activity and your mind is not often focused on all the other clutter, at least not for me. And I've talked to other people about this, so that you can hit that kind of still point so that the information can come through. And that's why a lot of people go, I need to, if you're sitting and working at your desk, on something, and it's like something is not coming through, and you get up and take a break from that, that's when yes, boom. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, because you're wanting information, and everyone has their way of receiving information.
Yes.
And people do it all the time. I think they just don't know it. And, this is, for me, I'm not an architect. I'm not a brain surgeon. So for me, this is part of my mastery in this lifetime. So I want to be as good and clear about it as I possibly can. Also, chocolate helps.
Yes, yes. And I love the fact that Joe mentioned about physical fitness.
Water.
Because I truly believe that during physical fitness, whether it's your cardio activity or your weightlifting activity, to start off with, you do have to connect with your mind, body, spirit. And once you make that connection, at least for me, it makes it a little easier to then gain that insight, because you've already connected with spirit. Yes?
Yeah, and I think that, in the case of working out, it's to get over, for me, since COVID started, getting over this hump of resistance in my mind. Sometimes that's it. Sometimes we get so focused on, I don't want to do it. We just don't leave the house or put on our workout clothes in the house and do some push-ups or sit-ups or pick up the dumbbells or something, So once we get over our resistance and our hyper focus of the NOT, which becomes a KNOT inside of us,
yes.
That all loosens. So.
Excellent. Now, I just want to give a shout out to some who are watching with us right now. So we have Deb Mockman, so apparently a relative of yours.
Oh.
Then we also have Janet Mockman, which is another relative of yours, I'm guessing.
True.
And then we also have Therese, and I'm definitely going to say her last name wrong, so I'm not going to say it at all. So, but thank you for being here and watching with us. Please put your comments in. Janet did put a comment in, and I want to read it. She puts, what's in the eyes is often in the heart, and that's where kindness is found. So what Janet is sharing with us is the word that Joe shared as the word of the day. The word for today's show is kindness, because during Joe's gathering, he often offers 3 words that he lets us know in advance what the theme's going to be for that gathering. And all I asked for was 1 for today, as opposed to 3. And I'm sure he would have given us 3 if I asked. But
yes.
So Joe, I know that the 2 cards that I read earlier in my intro really resonated with you. And in your mind, you're like, wow, that was like such a perfect reading.
Yes.
But guess what? You get another one. Are you open to receiving another one?
I'm all here for it.
All right. So if you wouldn't mind just saying your full name that's on your birth certificate, if assuming what your full name on your birth certificate is resonates with you in reference to what you relate to in this lifetime. I say that because some people have changed their names, so it doesn't really resonate. So if it does, please say it fully out loud for me 3 times.
Okay. Joseph Edward Monkman, Joseph Edward Monkman, Joseph Edward Monkman.
All right. So what I'm asking the cards, since I'm not going to ask Joe to focus in on something, I'm asking the cards what Joe needs to know for this energy that we are in right now and how it's going to help him. So let's see what shows up for Joe. Drum roll, please. Freedom.
Oh, okay. That's That's pretty much what I'm asking for right now.
Yes, freedom. Now, in order for Joe to get freedom, which Joe already knows this is not something new for Joe, but some of you might be sitting back and saying, freedom, how do I get that? In order for us to get freedom and Joe to get freedom, grounding, because sometimes we all get in our own head and we get in our own way from what it is that we want freedom from. And sometimes it's our thoughts that we need freedom from the very thing we are thinking about. That could be the thing that's preventing us from taking that leap into the next thing. So freeing yourself of your own self-sabotaging thoughts is the word I'm hearing. Does that make sense for you so far?
Yeah, because there's, I've been really sitting with for the last few days, which is why I've been quiet on social media. Feelings of fear and hesitancy and, all wrapped up into self-worth, how I value myself, so yeah, this is spot on.
Excellent. Now let's talk about that number there, 1 and 4. Before I break it down to the single digit, that 1 is about a new beginning, your leadership role as being a leader, and being independent. Now, when I hear the word independent, it's not about your personal relationship. It's really about being independent as being an entrepreneur, being that leader you're meant to be. So stepping away from the need of thinking that you need to have the word I'm hearing, like your day job. Stepping away from that so you can really be more independent in what you came here to do. That 4 is about your foundation. So it's about building this new foundation. It's about finding the balance as you build that foundation, the stability, harmony within yourself, and also, now, when we talk about the number 4 in numerology, the 4 is known as working really hard to get where you want to go. I've changed it to the 4 is we work disciplinedly to get to where we want to go. Because when I use the word hard, to me, it's like, that's so resistant.
Work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and anytime, what was that?
It's like old paradigm language. So you're
exactly. And anytime we hear the word hard, it's like, resistance. But when we sit back and say we're going to be disciplined in doing what we want to do, it's an intentional thing. So it makes it perfect. Now, that 5, because 1 and 4 equals 5. 5 is associated with where the sun is right now for the remaining couple of days. Leo, which is about self-expression, creativity, fun, magic. It's also about your sexuality in reference to who you are, and even more exciting, the unpredictable changes that are coming in. Also change, freedom, courageousness to take the changes, to make the changes you need to make to get to where you got to go. Root chakra is the red energy. So it's about staying focused on where you want to go. But when you focus on where you want to go, focus on it as though you're already there. Because theoretically, the universe has no idea whether you're there or not. But if you're focusing on the fact that you're already there, the universe is going to bring you there so much faster, as opposed to focusing on, well, it's coming. Because when we think about it as it's coming, it's not here yet, the universe can't give it to us because we have that mindset that we don't have it yet. So focus on whatever it is you're looking to attract. Focus and stop pretending as though you have it already. And allow yourself to be fearless in whatever it is you need to do so you can get to that place. Does this resonate with you?
Yeah, and here's the thing, you're talking about how do you receive messages? Well, you're holding a card and getting that message, right? And you're asking the cards for the answers, for me, on behalf of me, you're asking Spirit to give you a message for me in your spot. I will tell you, it's like you've been in my head since Friday morning, in my heart, listening, or I've been telling you what's going on. You don't know, but this is exactly all of it. You
Look
just
at that.
spilled the beans on it.
Look at that. I'm peeking, I'm digging in your head, yes. And thank goodness that I don't know all the stuff that's actually going on in your head. Could you imagine? Oh my Lord,
No.
I'd have to very much,
No,
cut
yeah.
cords and all that stuff.
Be
So
blushing.
anyway, Joe, I'm glad that that card resonated. I'm glad that the first two cards resonated. You're walking out of here with a lot of insight, clarity for you. That's the word of the day, so to speak, in kindness. Once again, just if you have any final words, anything we haven't touched on, this is an opportunity to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I think that what is coming up now for me and what you've touched on is believing in oneself and trusting in the magic of the universe, really, that the miracles abound. We are a living miracle. Sometimes we forget that, and things can just happen really fast.
Excellent.
Things can change really fast. We see that all the time if we pay attention to nature. And that's what can happen when we are paying attention to ourselves, trusting and loving ourselves with kindness.
There you go. Joe, let everybody know how they can reach you one last time.
Right now, reach me through my email, which is my name, Joe Monkman. There's no space, there's no underscore, nothing. It's joemonkman@gmail.com.
Awesome. So Joe, thank you so much for being here with us today.
And thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And everybody else, if you missed any of this, you can come back and watch on the replay. I will be back after this commercial break with the conclusion of today's show. Once again, Joe, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to take that break now.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Did you know that stress and unprocessed emotions can store in your body, creating more muscle tension and pain, causing illness and disease to flare up? With the help of Chakra Balance Reiki Healing, you can begin to feel better within one session. Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast Deck. And I would like to help you release issues from your tissues as you release emotional weight and begin to feel better physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. For more information, email healingwithin76@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And we're right at the very end of today's show. So if you are just tuning in, please go back and watch on the replay. You can do that on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, YouTube. And for those who live in Long Island, Optimum TV Long Island, channel 115, 2 p.m. every Thursday. I know many of you like to know what's coming next. So next week, next Sunday, I have Dr. Terry Morse coming on, and she's going to be sharing with you how to overcome disease. I'm sure you're going to want to tune in there. Same time, 3 p.m. Eastern next week. So a lot of my partners rather, have many things going on in their lives, and I'm just going to share some of them with you. Starting off with, these are our promos. We have the Author's Porch magazine and podcast, hosted and publisher by CJ Ives Lopez. Then we have Intuition of the Soul, which has amazing, amazing programs, hosted by Kitty Foss and Amy Martin. Kendrick Greer, our astrologer, also my mentor. We have real estate agent Nick Rafter. Wellness Morse by Terry Morse. All that being said, super, super excited to be here with you today. Remember, come back and watch if you've missed. Come join us next week. Until then, enjoy this amazing, amazing energy that all the planets are helping us with. And remember, the word of today is kindness. Bye-bye for now.